What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I go by the name of Papa Jr. This is the Ring Up Podcast. Be sure to click on the video. This video just from this video to play it. Adam Blampied is back again. I saw it in the thumbnail that said third time's a charm. I don't know what's going on with this guy. I did a couple of What Culture Pro Wrestling videos back in the day. It was like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, something like that. He was part of some scandal. I said I was gonna react to it and I didn't. I totally forgot. I'm not gonna be honest with you, but this caught my attention. Hopefully, top 10 wrestling. I think it's top 10 wrestling. I hope he talks about it. You know, his past scandals and what he's been going through. I didn't know he was MIA. I didn't know he went on a hiatus. You know, I haven't seen him in a minute. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But now he resurfaced. So let's see what's going on, man. Top 10 wrestling. What you got for us, man? Let's get it.
So a very controversial wrestling YouTuber has made his second return to the platform. Different kind of and shorter video today, as I'm of course talking about Adam Blampied, who is back on YouTube once again. I thought to make a video talking about this because I've spoken about.
So he's on his own now. He's on his own now. So he's probably controversial with his those that he worked with the WCPWs. Now he wasn't in Cultaholic, right? He wasn't in Cultaholic. I mean, he was part of that group that left with Cultaholic. Parts Fun Known, I think he was part of. And he was doing that game show with the wrestlers and some YouTubers and shit like that. I checked those out before during my high days. That's how I enjoyed it when I was fucking high. Those wrestling game shows, it was entertaining. You know, then it got corny a little bit. I was like, you know, I'm done with this shit. But let's see what's going on, man. Now he's by himself.
Adam Blampied and all the drama that he's been in the past in multiple different videos. And if you don't know who Adam Blampied is or why the fact that him making his second return to YouTube is news, well, let me explain who Adam Blampied is to you if you've been living under a rock. So
I enjoy those fantasy bookings back in the day, in the What Culture Wrestling days. I enjoy
first
those.
Appeared on the YouTube wrestling scene in, I believe, 2014 to 2015 with the What Culture Wrestling YouTube channel. And Adam Blampied was very influential during this time for the wider wrestling YouTube community. What Culture Wrestling was easily the biggest channel in this space, and Adam Blampied was very responsible for growing it to that point. He was the most popular personality on the channel, and as a result was more or less the most popular personality in all of wrestling YouTube. I've been on the record saying that Adam Blampied is more or less the reason that Top 10 Wrestling even exists, as I definitely spent a good amount of time as a teenager watching the What Culture Wrestling rebooking and list videos. But in 2017, Blampied's YouTube wrestling career would take a nosedive when himself and the personalities of Cultaholic would depart What Culture
he was in
Wrestling
Cultaholic.
and transition over to Cultaholic. But before they could even do that, Adam Blampied was cut from Cultaholic as a whole due to controversy that he found himself in and allegations, with many women coming forward to say that Adam Blampied had manipulated.
I think I do remember. That's why I was asking myself, was he part of Cultaholic? He left with that group after WCPW. But I don't remember he was part of Cultaholic. And now I remember he got cut off right away once the launch came with Cultaholic. And I do remember the story.
Manipulated them and used his position of power to gain sexual favors from them. And Adam Blampied would come out with various statements and on-video apologies where he more or less kind of submitted to the allegations against him and saw himself out and bowed out of wrestling YouTube in a way, with many people kind of assuming that was the end of it and he was never going to come back. However, at the start of 2020, he would make a surprise appearance for the Wrestle Talk TV channel as he was part of a fantasy booking warfare video, and it was a very big surprise to see Adam Blampied back on YouTube in a wrestling content form, as this hadn't been seen in nearly 3 years at that point. And it got a very warm reception from the comments and the Wrestle Talk viewers, who were very happy to see Adam Blampied back on wrestling YouTube and were asking Wrestle Talk to bring him in as a permanent member. And sure enough, that's exactly what would happen, as Adam Blampied Blampied was signed up
So
to
jokes,
Wrestle Talk
people.
and would become part of the content team, running the Parts Unknown channel as well as the No Rolls Barred channel, which was a channel dedicated to board game stuff, which is important for later. Over on Parts Unknown though, Adam Blampied was doing his typical wrestling stuff that you saw in the past, the list, the fantasy booking. It was vintage Adam Blampied back again on YouTube. And these wouldn't be the only times that history repeated itself, as sure enough, around in the summertime of 2023, Adam Blampied found himself embroiled in controversy once again, as he was forced to take a leave of absence from Parts Unknown and Wrestle Talk TV, as he was under investigation and under fire for some form of allegations once again. And when I say some form of allegations, I'm keeping it vague, because that's exactly how it was at the time. It was very vague in all the statements that Parts Unknown and Wrestle Talk and Blampied would release, as they were all kind of speaking in code about the accuser, as Blampied and Parts Unknown would mutually agree to depart, and Adam Blampied in his statement would talk about the allegation in a much different way to the way he responded to the last series of allegations, as he more or less said that he categorically refutes whatever was said about him, and that he's had his fuck-ups in the past, but this one is different, and it's his transparency that has kind of cost him here, as his fuck-up in the past has led to people to jump to conclusions about this new situation. And I know this is all very vague, but once again, at this time, it was all being talked about in code. No one was saying any names, but fans themselves were able to kind of decipher and figure out what was going on and who was involved, as the initial controversy was caused by comments that were left by a former No Raws Barred presenter and collaborator called Gnarly Carly, who, when asked about why she won't be appearing on No Raws Barred again, alluded to a relapse in past behavior from...
I'll read this for y'all. You will not, because they asked her, any chance you will be back with no Rose Barn? You will not. While I do believe that most of the folks of NRB are decent humans, I will no longer work with them or support them personally or professionally, so long as an individual that I know to be problematic and predatory still works there. And until they fix their systems that allowed for abuse in the first place. My reading sucks, so bear with me. I am being told that they're taking steps now to protect cast members and fans alike from this individual, future similar situation, and believe in the heart of the folks doing so. But at the moment, none of that change has manifested yet, save what I understand to be temporary disciplinary leave. In no way will I return or support them while I believe their ethics don't align with mine. At the moment, the care more at the moment the care more about they care. This is supposed to say they care. The care. I thought I was bugging. They care more about the privacy of a predator than safety of others in doing the right thing. They are a business, and I can understand this choice as a business, but it simply doesn't align with my values. Bueno. Like you wanna like protect somebody that's been in the business in the wrestling YouTube business, been doing contact for the longest. They're like this is Adam Blampied. Like we gotta protect this guy. This guy's gonna bring us money, eyes, viewers, and all that. He's very known. And you want to protect this guy, and you know, fuck the rest, right? Well, he's I don't know if he's still doing. This is all allegations and shit, but I don't know, man. It's like the Tessa Blanchard situation. But nobody's talking about Tessa Blanchard anymore. They just whatever. Um Anthem, they got what they wanted. They got Tessa Blanchard back. They knew the fans were gonna talk about it, talk shit for a few weeks, but now nobody's talking about it anymore. And Tessa Blanchard working like nothing happened. But internet never forgets. Internet never forgets. But so I won't be surprised if AEW WWE brings her off. It's just crazy. And she still hasn't apologized.
from Adam Blampied, and overall the situation just seemed to be a bit of a huge mess and maybe a bit overblown, as other people involved in the situation also came out to defend Adam. But following that seemed to be it once again for Adam Blampied, his second controversy leading to him to exit YouTube, and this took place back in 2023 in September, over a year and a half ago, so surely it seemed like this was the end of Adam Blampied. But sure enough, just yesterday Adam Blampied would pop back up on YouTube again as the new channel Blampco, or Blompco, I'm not really sure how to say it, appeared on YouTube with a brand new Adam rebooking video for how Adam would book the Summer of Cena. And yeah, as of recording, the channel is on 35,000 subscribers with 110,000 views on one video, which is a great number to return to. But it's not even that surprising when you realize that Adam Blampied didn't actually leave content creation following his exit from Wrestle Talk and No Rolls
Non-evil corporation.
At the start of this year, in January 2025, Adam Blampied would actually start a Patreon page alongside someone called Terry Lamongi, or Terry Lamongi, so sorry for butchering that pronunciation, which I absolutely have done. And there's been pretty regular content on that Patreon from January, as there's been rebooking videos, there's been lists, pay-per-view reviews and predictions, there's even been board game stuff as well.
Damn.
So it's all the Adam Blampied content that you'd find anywhere but on Patreon. And yeah,
he got that power, he got that star power in the wrestling community, bro. He's well known. You see his name, yeah. World Culture Pro Wrestling, yeah, man. He got his fans. He got his loyal fans, bro. And he got people that are like, you know, like, you know, oh, he's back. Let's see what he's doing. Nothing crazy. He still hasn't been arrested yet. Nothing, you know. I'm gonna check him out type shit. So he still got that, bro. His name means something in the wrestling community, man. You know, shit crazy, bro.
This Patreon has done really well. It's got 1,850 paid members, which is a pretty crazy number. And I
feel like he should have done this a long time ago, bro. Doing his own thing instead of, you know, being part of another group, you know? Wrestle Talk, No Roads. I never heard of No Roads Bar. Nah, I never heard of them. You're a name, bro. You should have done this shit a long time ago, doing your own thing.
It was kind of being used to test the waters for what a return could look like for Adam Blampied, or what a Blampco channel being launched could look like. And yeah, evidently the launch of the Blampco or Blampco channel, once again, I don't know how to pronounce it. I've not actually watched that first video and heard the intro yet. Let me check that now. Okay, it's called Blampco. I probably should have figured. And that video was also released on the 10-year anniversary of his first ever booking video on What Culture Wrestling, that being the Summer of Punk. Now 10 years later, he's doing the Summer of Cena, so that's cool. Yeah, what was I saying? The Blamco channel being launched, it's done very well upon launch, and that can be expected due to how successful their Patreon was. And clearly Adam Blampied still has a great groundswell of support. And being real, I never really understood why Blampied didn't just start his own solo channel. I think it was always gonna do this well, to be honest.
I just said
in terms of reaction on YouTube, obviously he's got a very warm reaction from the fans on the channel itself, who are happy to see him return. On Twitter, it's a bit of a mixed bag, who are kind of saying like, why are you even returning? It's the third time you're back now. And I mean, I disagree. I get he's had his controversies, but from what it seemed like in that second controversy, it seemed very overblown. And yeah, I'll just say I think he'd be dumb if he didn't return to YouTube. Like I said, he very clearly still has a good groundswell of support here and can do well on YouTube, so it would just be dumb if he didn't come back. I think wrestling YouTube will ultimately always have a place for Adam Blampied, provided he doesn't get into any major controversy again, which if he does, at that point I will just say, yeah, just pack it up. Don't come back this time round. But yeah, for now, Adam Blampied is back on YouTube. Blomco is up and running and seems to be going pretty well just off of their first video alone. And yeah, it's good to see Adam Blampied back. I do understand people's reservations. This is his third stint on YouTube, which is pretty funny to say. And I don't think it's worth predicting or wishing controversy on someone. But yeah, that's going to do it for me on this video talking about the return of Adam Blampied on YouTube. I made this video because, like I said in the past, I've done many videos talking about all the various drama surrounding Adam Blampied. And like I said...
yeah, I think that's enough right there, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm going to check it out, bro. I mean, like I said, he should have done this a long time ago, doing his own thing, you know. And... dude, he's a name. He's a name, man. Especially with those fantasy bookings, bro. I remember those fantasy booking times, man. I remember casuals reacting to his fantasy. Tyrone Magnus reacted to his one of his fantasy bookings. I think it was an Undertaker one or some shit like that. You know what? I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna do a reaction to his whatchamacallit, Summer of Cena fantasy booking. Let me know in the comments if y'all want me to do that. That'll be dope. I would like to hear his thoughts on, what his mindset, because I like how he says this should happen and here's why. You know, details, explains and all that. Makes you feel like damn, this shit could really work. Or maybe, a nice little debate back and forth I can have with his video and with my reaction, my thoughts. That'll be cool, man. Let me know if y'all want me to do that. If you made it this far, appreciate you. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Blamco, he's back. He should have done this a long time ago, but better late than never, man. Better late than never. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen.
Goodbye. Mwah, and good night, bang.
Peace.